supposed to say good morning. Thank you. Come on. My name is Gigi Sohn. I'm the president of Public Knowledge, which is bringing you this wonderful, wonderful event, the second annual World's Fair Use Day. And I want to thank you all for coming, and particularly thank those of you who came down from New York. I believe that half of our speakers came from New York, where there was a blizzard that would have stopped Washington dead in its tracks. And we were freaking out about a day ago about whether folks would make it. But thanks to your efforts, and also I'll talk more about Mehan later, and the Herculean efforts he and some of my other staff made to get you down here by train instead of bus. You're all here, and we're really, really, really excited. So for the uninitiated, World's Fair Use Day is where creators, innovators, and everyone who loves vibrant culture and civic discourse gather to celebrate fair use. And that's the exception to copyright law that enables the cool stuff you're going to see here today. Everything from the internet meme databases created by Ben Ha and Kenyatta Cheese, to the audio collage work of Negative Land, to the mixtapes of Das Racist and DJ Rupture, to the game remixes of Jay Pavlina and Overclocked Remix. None of these would be possible without fair use. None of these. Our culture is richer and a heck of a lot funnier because of it. But while Public Knowledge calls this conference World's Fair Use Day, fair use is largely an American concept. It really is time for that to change. It's time to put the world into World's Fair Use Day. And why not? In trade agreements and international treaties, the United States has insisted on exporting copyright protections like the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, longer copyright terms, and high statutory damages for copyright infringement. But it does not make a practice of exporting the all-important limitations and exceptions to copyright, including fair use. Now, we may soon have an opportunity to change that practice, and for the first time, we may be able to export fair use to other parts of the world. U.S. trade officials have recently started negotiating what is called the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement, TPP. And this agreement is with 7 other countries, including Australia, Brunei, Chile, Malaysia, New Zealand, Peru, and Vietnam. Please don't ask me why it's those 7 countries. Just take my word for it. As has been the custom for trade agreements over the past several decades, there will be a chapter on intellectual property in the agreement. And here's a question we want to raise, and I'm going to need all of your help to help raise it. If the U.S. uses trade agreements to promote better labor practices, cleaner environmental practices, why not use them to promote free speech, creativity, and innovation? We plan on giving the Obama administration a roadmap for making fair use a part of this and future trade agreements and treaties. And again, if you follow this at all, you have noticed that trade agreements, we just had one that's about to be adopted called the Anti-Counterfeiting Trade Agreement, now becoming the route for changing intellectual property laws internationally. And while I'm not sure we can stop that, we can certainly try to move it more in the direction of balance. As I said before, Public Knowledge and its free culture allies in Washington cannot change the customary position of the U.S., one of more and more copyright protection and enforcement unbalanced by limitations and exceptions, without your help. Over the next year, we'll be asking you to tell the Obama administration and Congress to export fair use, one of our country's most important assets. So please sign up for our emails, which will tell you how and when to act, and follow our Twitter feed at Public Knowledge. So before I introduce our first keynote speaker, I want to thank a number of people who made today possible. First, I want to thank our sponsors, Google, the Consumer Electronics Association, the Cheeseburger Network. I hope everybody's going to come to the happy hour, which they're sponsoring. I'm really excited. Kaltura, Neil Numberman, the Future of Music Coalition, and Free Press. Second, I want to thank the terrific Public Knowledge staff who made this possible. First and foremost, Mehan Jayasuriya, who I regret to inform everybody we are likely to lose to graduate school in the fall. Let me tell you something, I better not have filled out those 10 recommendation forms for nothing. But that will be, it is really due to his incredible efforts, and he's so mellow. I was like freaking out when I heard about the Blues. He's like, oh, you know, I just rescheduled everybody. Anyway, He's been the driving force between World's Fair Use the past 2 years, and I'm afraid we're going to lose him, and it's a bummer. And whatever school accepts him and whatever school he accepts, I think that's what it's going to come down to, is really going to get a huge asset. Also, PK staffers Whitney Tompkins, Katie Tasker, and Brooke Ray Hunter also deserve my and our gratitude for helping to put this together. It's hard to believe Public Knowledge will turn 10 years old later this year. And we plan on celebrating in a very big way. So mark your calendars. Thursday, October 13th, that's going to be our 10th anniversary party and roast. So you will have the opportunity to roast Public Knowledge staff. I don't know why anybody would want to roast me, but I have a feeling that I think people are already, we may have an auction, you know. We'll see if Disney or Fox or one of the studios will pay a lot of money to roast me. And that will also feature our annual IP3 Awards, which we give to individuals who do outstanding work in the public interest in 3 areas of IP: intellectual property, information policy, and internet protocol. And stay tuned to our Twitter feed at Public Knowledge for information about our 10th anniversary donation drive. We've lined up a sponsor who will match up to $10,000 in donations. So with that, let me introduce our keynote speaker, who I am very, very proud to call my friend. Maria Palanti was appointed Acting Register of Copyrights for the United States effective January 1, 2011. She'll serve on an interim basis until the next register is named and assumes the duties of the position. And maybe she'll have some insight about when that is. But as far as I'm concerned, the longer she stays, the better. Maria is on leave from the Office of the Librarian of Congress, where she served as Senior Advisor to the Librarian since October 2010. She previously held 2 senior positions in the Copyright Office, serving as Associate Register and Deputy General Counsel, respectively, from January 2007 to October 2010. It was during that time that I had the pleasure of working with Maria in an attempt to pass orphan works legislation, which would have allowed creators to use millions of works when their owners could not be found. I am sad to say that while we got legislation passed in the Senate, it did not pass the House. But it was the closest we've ever gotten to getting legislation that would have brought some balance back to copyright, and Maria was a huge part of that. Prior to 2007, Maria served in a variety of capacities. She was Intellectual Property Counsel and Director of Licensing for the worldwide Guggenheim Museums. She also served as Assistant Director of the Authors Guild and Executive Director of the National Writers Union, in each case working on copyright, publishing, transactions, and freedom of expression issues. So I see nobody better qualified in the government today to talk about fair use than the Acting Register of Copyrights, Maria Palanti.